What's up, everyone? This is me walking home from my corner store. Gotta watch my back nowadays, considering what's been going on recently. Gotta make sure nobody's in their SUV calling police on me, saying that I look suspicious because I'm walking home from the store. What's going on, everyone? I just came back from the corner store and I just bought me an Arizona. Also some Skittles. So it's going to be pretty obvious what this video is about. Okay, so it's no secret what's been going on recently with the whole deal about Trayvon Martin. Basically, we all know the story. It was an unarmed minor, 17 years old, going home from the store, and apparently somebody thought he was looking suspicious. He decided to call the cops. The cops told him to stop following him. He decided not to listen, and then the kid ended up getting shot in the chest. And then, of course, everyone is all pissed off about the fact that the killer who admitted to doing it is not even been arrested. Now, on this video, I can go on and on and on about how stupid that is. Just that part by itself, how stupid that is and how irresponsible the police are for doing that. However, there are millions of videos describing that, so I'm here to do something much deeper. See, at first, it was only the, I want to say, possibility that self-defense was being acted here, but now everyone's saying, well, now it's being released in the media that it was actually self-defense, and now all of a sudden the killer has all these bruises and nosebleeds and stuff that he had, and he was being beat up. That's why he had to shoot him. Okay, first let's look into that for a second. Now, when I first heard about this, I didn't know the details about exactly who he was and who his killer was. So all I heard was an unarmed minor got killed, and the killer hasn't been charged yet. And then I heard the possibility of self-defense. So I'm not on one side yet because I need to know the full story. I don't like to just jump on one end of the conclusions. However, I knew I had to look into it more because there would be no reason why almost everyone is just pissed off about this. So I looked at a couple videos, listened to the 911 calls, and there's a lot I need to get into about that. However, the main thing I was focused on is looking at what Trayvon looks like and what the killer looks like. Because all I heard was the 911 calls, and then I actually ended up seeing a picture of them both. But then that's when I really got upset that when I saw the picture of the two, and yet the guy still claiming self-defense. Now, when I first looked at him, I have to be honest, maybe I didn't think that he was old as I found out that he was. I thought maybe just a little bit younger. I found out that Trayvon was 17, and I thought when I first looked at the guy, I thought maybe he was maybe 20, maybe 20, because he had a full head of facial hair, and when I let my hair grow up, I look like I'm 24 when I'm only 18. So you can't be too sure. However, I want you all to take a second to look at this picture that I found of the two guys. Now, of course, that picture had a lot of information on, but I want you to focus on really the age and how much they weighed, because that's really the part that made me mad. There was a 17-year-old boy that was killed by a 28-year-old man, and the man is claiming self-defense. Okay, first of all, the minor was Trayvon Martin was 17 years old and only weighed 140 pounds. You put that against maybe a 15-year-old, maybe a 12-year-old, heck, maybe even an 18-year-old like me. He probably would mess me up, probably. I don't know. However, you put that against somebody who is 250 pounds and 28 years old. What self-defense module is that? How can your life be that much in danger if you're 28 years old and you weigh 250 pounds and you're claiming self-defense by a 17-year-old who only weighed 140 pounds? He weighed at least more than 100 pounds less than you did. So that doesn't even make sense right there. And yes, I know, just because you're 17, size doesn't matter when it comes to fighting. It's all about technique. Bullcrap. The weird thing is about this is that he was the self-appointed neighborhood watch. He was appointed by himself to watch the neighborhoods. Now, let's think about that for a second. Now, I'm not going to lie. I only heard on one newscast that he was the self-appointed neighborhood watch. Maybe he was appointed by someone else, but from what I heard, he was appointed by himself. So the problem is that if you are self-appointing yourself to watch the neighborhood, and yet that you were in so much, your life was in so much danger by a 17-year-old to the point where you had to kill him, what are you watching the neighborhood for? If you cannot handle a 17-year-old, if he attacked you, what would you do against somebody who's over 20? Maybe someone as tall as you were, maybe someone as big as you were. What could you have done? Why would you be watching something if you knew that you couldn't even handle somebody that's a minor? And also, hey, maybe you don't want to see me talk. Maybe I don't have them all. But I got some facts for you all. There's videos on YouTube, all over YouTube about this guy, and he claims self-defense. However, if you listen to the phone call carefully at some points, you will understand the fallacies that's going on here. Because he admitted himself that he was following the kid, so he started it by following a young boy home. Who follows someone home? And to add on to that, after he told the police that he's following him, the cop said, "Stop following him." Did he stop following him? No. That's not listening to police. That's not defending yourself. You are starting chaos. You are starting a problem if you are doing something that police told you not to do. The police are certified protection givers. You are not. Therefore, if the police tell you not to follow him, what are you doing still following him, and yet you claim the right to self-defense?
Are you following him? Yeah. Okay, we don't need you to do that.
We're not about to get into that slur. We're just going to let you listen to that for yourself because I'll let you listen to it twice. And more importantly, we already heard plain and clearly the cop say, "Are you following him?" Yeah. We don't need to do that. So why did he still do that? Why are you still following when the police specifically told you not to? And not only that, I'm sure you all have seen the video of the call. I'm sure you all heard how the guy said, yes, at first Trayvon was looking at him, but he started to run away. If you are running away from someone, that is not self-defense. Because if the kid is running away from you, that means he's not going in your direction. Therefore, in order for you to meet up with him, it would be either two possibilities. One, you chase after him, which would make you the cause of the problem. Or two, he ran around the whole world, which is not likely.
So as you can hear on the tapes, they say don't follow him. He follows them anyway. Obviously, very damaging part is when he says they always get away. And apparently he'd called 911, of course, many times before, because he's looking for a confrontation. What I found most interesting is when he kept projecting, saying, "Oh, now he's staring at me." Well, that's because you were staring at him. You kept staring at him and called 911 on the guy. He's probably wondering, why is this guy staring at me?
And he actually just brought up a really good point there. If you're walking home from the store, minding your own business, and then you just happen to notice that some guy is following you, he's 20, he's so much bigger than you are, and he's following you, and he's on the phone. So of course you're gonna want to go check it out, and then he obviously sees that that's not right, so he's gonna start to run away. Like he just said, he's running away. He said in the call he's running away. So if he's running away, apparently you must have to chase him down. So if you're staring at him, why are you wondering why he's running away? A 28-year-old man driving around in an SUV, following someone on the phone. That sounds like potential kidnapping.
He's running. He's running. Which way is he running? Down towards the other entrance of the neighborhood. Okay. Which entrance is that he's heading towards? The back entrance.
There is nothing that can be defended right there. He said that he's running towards the back entrance. If it was self-defense, that means he would have to be running towards him, which he would have told the police on the phone. He would not say he's running toward the back entrance. If you're on the phone with the police and some guy is running towards you, that's potentially going to endanger your life. You're going to say, this guy is running towards me, not running towards the back entrance.
Sounds like he looks like he's hammered or wasted. There's something wrong with him. But now we find out the cops actually did not do what they were supposed to do, which was to find out if the shooter had actually been intoxicated. And some are saying that on the tapes, if you listen to the whole thing, Zimmerman sounds like he might be intoxicated. The whole thing is a projection. And then, of course, we know that he follows him and then eventually shoots him.
Yeah.
And yet doesn't get arrested.
All right.
Again, another very interesting point. And for a second, I'm going to use the exact words from Will Smith. And just think about it. Self-defense or not, this man broke the law. He deserves to be arrested. He killed someone. You get arrested for doing that. Especially considering the fact that he was an unarmed minor. Not the fact only that he was a minor, but that he was unarmed. He could not have hurt your life that bad to where you had to kill him. And you can't say that he was not shooting to kill. He shot him in the chest. That is a kill shot. If you think about it, what police officer has the authority to shoot someone to kill them if they are unarmed? Even if somebody is fighting a police officer, the police officer still does not have the right to pull out his gun and shoot him to kill him. And like Will Smith said, how can a girl become arrested by throwing flour on Kim Kardashian that could do no harm to her? I mean, yeah, maybe if Kim Kardashian was allergic to flour, then maybe. But no, all she did was get flour dumped on her and she was arrested on sight. This man killed a person, broke the law. It's not against the law to throw flour on someone. It's against the law to kill someone. And he did it, he admitted it, and we know that he did it, and he still has not been arrested yet.
All right, so last week I brought up the issue of self-defense and a duty to retreat. So in most states, if you are presented with the imminent threat of grave bodily harm or death, you have a duty to retreat from the situation unless you are in your own home. Florida is one of those states where you do not have a duty to retreat. So you can, quote, stand your ground and fight back. Now, self-defense is an affirmative defense, meaning that you have the burden of proof, the one who's claiming self-defense. So here, Zimmerman has the burden of proof. He has to prove that he was acting in self-defense. So when the police chief says things like, well, we have no evidence to say that it was not self-defense, that's nonsense, because he should have been arrested, investigated, and if his claim is self-defense, then he has to prove it. It is his duty and his burden to prove that, in fact, it was self-defense.
And two other things here. Yes, you don't have to retreat in Florida, but that doesn't mean you could run after the guy. Right? I mean, he didn't, not only did he not retreat, not only he didn't stand his ground, he ran towards the guy. Look, think about that, right? Because in order for the self-defense to work, he has to say like, oh my God, I was put in imminent danger, right?
Yeah.
But as Misty's pointing out, he's the one that created danger in the first place by running after the guy when the 911 dispatcher told him, don't run after the guy. The second part is what Steve mentioned last week, which is it has to be proportional force. Mm-hmm. In order to use fatal force, you have to think that your life is in danger. What did he think he was going to do? Trayvon was going to kill him with his bag of Skittles?
Yeah, punch him to death? What could he possibly do?
Yeah, also, you have to prove two things. We have to make two showings. One is that a reasonable person in your situation would reasonably believe that his life was in imminent danger. And two, that you actually believed it, right? Mm-hmm. So would a reasonable person who's 28 years old and armed with a gun be reasonably afraid for their life when confronted with this 17-year-old boy who weighs 140 pounds, 100 pounds less than you? Is that reasonable? Okay, so I feel so threatened, and that feeling has to be reasonable. So it's a very tough standard to prove, and the fact that he wasn't even arrested is unbelievable.
Well, that's what everyone is so outraged
me.
about. You know, they're saying it's racial profiling, that if the killer was black, he would have been arrested.
Well, look, I mean, whether it's racial or some other reason for this bias, there's a clear bias here. Whether he was paid off, maybe he's best friends with the police chief, maybe he dated the police chief's daughter, who knows? Or the police chief hates black people. I have no idea what the bias is, okay? But it looks, on the face of it, it's a racial bias.
Look, there's some chance that the police chief is just protecting the other cops that showed up on the scene by doing this half-assed nonsense investigation where he assumes that everything that the shooter said is 100% true.
Which is ludicrous.
And that he has met all obligations, which he has clearly not met. But the first cop that showed on the scene, there's less question about because he doesn't, as I just told you, doesn't do the intoxication test on Zimmerman, but that's the least of it. Last week we reported to you that one of the witnesses said, I heard the boy shout out for help, right? And the cop says, no, you didn't. You heard Zimmerman shout out for help. She's like, no, but I heard the opposite. And then when you look at the overall investigation by the police, witnesses came out last week saying, we asked them to call us. We are witnesses. Can you call us and find out what happened? The cops have not called them because they don't want to find out the truth. At the very least, they're protecting the initial guy who came in and immediately assumed the white guy was right and the black guy who was dead was wrong. Crimes happen, right? And this was a particularly atrocious crime. I think the reaction by the police is much worse.
It is worse, and here's why. Obviously, it's bad for Trayvon and his family that nothing's being done. But it's also bad for society. When you have a police department that does not enforce the laws appropriately and fairly, it invites just massive chaos and vigilante justice. And you know what? I mean, if that's the standard, I could just basically kill whoever I want, just initiate a little fight with the guy, and then just pull out a gun. Like if I wanted to kill you, I just bump into you, call you names, push you, and then when you push me back, I pull out a gun and shoot you. Self-defense.
Yeah,
right?
You might not even have to start the fight because
Yeah.
if the standard is, well, the guy claims self-defense and the other guy's dead, so I believe the guy who's still alive. Okay, then you just go around shooting everybody.
I mean, this is clown-ass justice. I mean, it's not justice at all, in fact, right? I mean, this is nonsense.
The
This
police saving their
kangaroo-
asses.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is why we got to have good laws and good enforcement of laws. Otherwise, you just invite people to take matters into their own hands, which will lead to way more deaths and more injustice. It's a horrible situation.
The video that I used for reference is done by the Young Turks. You can go check them out. The video that I was using is in the description bar. I take no credit for that video. That was their video. But hopefully justice will come soon, and we need to do something about this because this is getting too crazy out here.